How we doing, everybody? So this is my Lorwyn and my morning tide stuff. At least all of it that's not currently in decks. It's not a large amount. It's not a small amount. At least not by my standards. Somewhere. It's a happy medium. Lorwyn had a lot of. Well, I don't know. Lorwyn overall as a block, I mean, I think it was okay, but it just didn't really impress me either. In general, anytime you see a block with a tribal theme, you generally have this really big problem of Wizards practically builds your deck for you. One thing that I you know what? I'll save my my rant on that one for when I'm doing sorting through Onslaught block. Ugh. Did not like Onslaught block. Anyways, so yeah, it's Lorwyn. You had some few interesting things going on. You had the reinforced mechanic where you pay a set amount of mana and you pitch the card with reinforced from your hand to put a set number of +1/+1 counters on a target creature, and usually it's a number more or less commensurate with the card's own power toughness. So I mean, it wasn't a bad idea. I mean, I don't know what I make. I don't really know how I feel about that as a whole. I really don't. But it'd be interesting to see the mechanic brought back at some time or another. What other things do we see hanging around here? Put a bunch of cards aside. We have the retrace mechanic, where you could play the spell from your graveyard. If you pitched a land from your hand, paid the spell's casting cost again. I believe that once a spell's been retraced, it's removed from game. A lot like Flashback. It's basically Flashback, where instead of like a different casting cost for a Flashback, you just pitch a land and pay the same casting cost. Which is alright. I mean, Flashback was an interesting mechanic back in the day. Some cards had flashback costs that were significantly higher than their original casting costs, and some had ones that were really low. The idea was you'd use something to pitch the card from your hand early, like a wild mongrel or something like that, and then later you'd pay it for its flashback cost because that was significantly more reasonable. But, tis what it is. This, ladies and gentlemen, is probably the smallest dragon ever printed. It's a shapeshifter. It's got the changeling ability. Changelings and, you know, their precursor, Mistform Ultimus, ruined so much Magic trivia that it's not even funny, because basically you have to, like, preface so many things with not counting Mistform Ultimus, not counting changelings, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh yeah, Martha's changeling is the only orc that you don't have to pay any mana into to get flying. There's all sorts of crazy crap that, you know, changelings just ruin the trivia. I mean, it wasn't a completely bad idea mechanically, and it was really kind of interesting in draft, because they helped you if you were trying to stay more or less tribal in draft. Kind of interesting. You had the prowl mechanic. Basically, you can, if a creature that shares a type with this creature dealt damage to your opponent, you can play it for its prowl cost instead of its regular cost. It was an interesting idea. You had the kinship mechanic. At the beginning of your upkeep, you can look at the top card of your library, and you can choose to reveal it, and if it shares a type with the kinship permanent, then, well, it shares a creature type with the kinship permanent, then you get an effect. Sometimes it's mill, sometimes it's power toughness boost, sometimes it's damage. It depends on a lot of things. Kid science fun stuff. Oblivion Ring, it's been reprinted at least once or twice already. It's really a good, solid card. I really think O-Ring should stay in the game for a good many years. Spellstutter Sprite, quite possibly one of the best sprites ever best fairies ever printed. One of the things about Lorwyn block that I didn't like it. Well, it was a mixed bag, I guess. You saw fairy decks become a force to be reckoned with, and that's all well and good. The problem is I've been making fairy decks a force to be reckoned with ever since the only blue fairy in the game was Sea Sprite in Homeland. I mean, seriously, when fairies were just green, I was making fairies dangerous. I mean, you know, a couple Orcish Oriflammes, some Juniper Advocates, Kesa, you know, Fairy Noble, maybe with an Instill Energy on him. Fairies get big fast. They hit like a flock of Shivens. That's a scary concept, folks. A flock of Shivens. Oh, I caused people to plots when I did that one. That was in a multiplayer game. I did not survive to my next turn after that. I went after the most dangerous guy on... Well, actually, the first guy he killed was the guy playing Underworld Dreams. Because no one wanted to deal with him. And then after a few turns after he was gone, I turned on the guy who was the remaining most dangerous fellow at the table, and I took him down a notch. He had gained a lot of life. He'd even taken down, after he took down some of my creature beefers and blocked some of my fairies, I still hit him for 20 plus. And other people at the table just sat there and said, "What?" After I they plotched when I told them how much damage those little suckers did. Because they're sitting there, it's like, it's fairies, who cares, blah 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 blah, and I hit the guy with like maybe 4 fairies, and just took him down a big notch. He'd already gained a lot of life. He was playing this black and artifact reanimator deck. It was wonky and weird. It was interesting though. A fellow by the name of, I want to say his name was Rick. I can't remember. He was a teacher, if I recall it correctly. He was an okay guy though. Anyways, yeah, people swiftly turned on me at that point. Oh boy, did they turn on me. But, oh well. We got the German Lissalana Huntsmaster. He's a Jagdführer von Lissalana. Yeah, Jaeger, stuff like that. I was thinking, making the joke, yeah, you know what happens when you sacrifice him from artillerize? You get a Jaeger bomb. If you don't get it, come back when you're 21. Pilapala, he's kind of interesting because he makes an infinite mana combo with a card from, I believe it's Skarzamiridon, the Grand Architect. He makes an infinite mana combo with him. 2-card infinite mana combo. That's kind of wacky. Bachelor Oak, I put aside for a silly little trivia reason. His playtest name was Moose and Squirrel. It's a 3/3 tree folk that when he comes into play you get a 1/1 elf warrior token. Rocky and Bullwinkle, Moose and Squirrel. He's Moose and Squirrel. Recross the Paths, I took that out. I think this is the only one I own, sadly, / strangely. You reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land. Put that card into play, the rest on bottom in order of your choice. Clash with opponent. If you win, return Recross the Paths to owner's hand. I want to put this thing in my landless deck because basically what it says is I reveal my deck to you and then I stack it. And then we clash. And maybe I get my deck stacking card back. That's awesome stuff. A couple other cards I put aside here. Poison the Well. I think I can sneak that into an EDH deck. I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking about it, so I've got to put aside. Unmake. I'm not sure if I've got one in that same EDH deck. It's a red, white, and black EDH deck with Boros the Avenger as the general. And I came across this one as I was sorting stuff. I didn't even know I had it. Forgot the card even existed. Everlasting Torment. 2 colorless and a black or red. For enchantment, players can't gain life. Damage can't be prevented. All damage is dealt as though its source had Wither. Now, I saw that, and suddenly all I could think of was Malaria, I believe her name is, Sylvok Outcast. The 2/2 green creature that says that creatures you control can't get neg 1 counters. You know, basically it shuts down Infect, but, yeah, when you have an enchantment on the board that says everything does damage as if it has Wither, and then you have her on the board, it's like, dude, I can block your dudes all day long. My dudes don't get counters. That's kind of funny. I like that. I'm going to have to see if I can't do something with that. That's awesome sauce. I like it. Anyways, Lorwyn as a whole also had a bunch of interesting things going on with it, though. You know, because you had it was a 4-set super block kind of thing, and halfway through you had some sort of world-changing event. I'm not going to go into that, and weird things happened. For example, the Kithkin started off as a blue-green tribe, then a white-green tribe, then they changed to white-blue after this event. Elves started off in this block as black and green, then they became white and green, which is more traditional colors for them. Black is traditionally not a color for elves. Goblins started off as black and red, they became green and red. Fairies stayed the same colors. Merfolk changed from white-blue to blue-black. We got some new we had the Hobgoblin tribe come in. They were a race of red-white goblins. Hey, you know, that's alright. Anything that, you know, adds to Boros deck wins, right? But, yeah, so there's some interesting stuff going on there. They brought the split mana cards back. From Ravnica for this set. Players liked the split mana cards. I count myself amongst that group. I think it was a nice move. I think it was a good move overall. Added a lot in draft, in my opinion, but yeah, I mean, it was a wonderful thing to see. It was very nice. Some things you saw. Dwarves make a brief reappearance. You hadn't seen any real dwarves since, oh, let me think. There was like 1 or 2, oh jeez. Odyssey had dwarves. I think Onslaught Block had a few dwarves, but I think that was the last time we'd seen dwarves seriously printed. They've never... Wizards... R&D is just basically, you know, they acknowledge that there are dwarves in the game world, but they just don't do anything with them for the most part. I don't know why. But yeah, you did see some dwarves in here as the Duergar, however you want to pronounce it. I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't even think I own any of them, which is kind of a shame. Another thing is, to a lesser degree, they did something in this block that they also did in Kamigawa block that was a bad maneuver, and that's that you've got creature types that you really are never going to see again outside of the block. For example, in Kamigawa you had Samurai and Ninja. You're not going to see Samurai and Ninja outside of them unless we return to Kamigawa. Or unless we see, like, a set based on feudal Japan or something. Yeah, it's Portal 4. No! No, not another Portal. Please, not another Portal. Nothing against Portal 3 Kingdoms. I love Portal 3 Kingdoms. You know, the stuff in Portal 3 Kingdoms. But that's mostly from a love of the flavor of it, because I've been playing the old Koei Romance of the Three Kingdoms games for ages upon ages. Coincidentally, I think the series probably topped out in quality at Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2 for the Super Nintendo. Find some emulators and play it. You didn't hear this from me, though. But yeah, they had the Noggle creature type in here. It was a bunch of donkey-headed humanoids. I think they were kind of smallish in stature. And I don't know what they were doing with that. I really don't. I think maybe we should take all the Noggles and put them into like into an unhinged deck or something with all of the ass cards, they'll fit right in. Oh well. So that's Lorwyn. I probably haven't, given the Lorwyn Shadowmoor super block as much credit as it deserves, because honestly I don't recall it very well. I actually had a social life at the time. Yeah, that's creepy, huh? Oh yeah, especially the latter half of the block of the super block, because I was I was heavily involved with the young lady, and we spent a lot of time together, etc., etc. I really hope that it worked out, but it didn't, and that's life sometimes. But hey, you know what? You're not here for my personal life, are you? Alrighty. I'll catch you folks later, and before we go, Ghana! Yeah. Say hello to your adoring public, Ghana. Meow meow. Yeah, a little puke bucket threw up earlier. That's always fun. Cleaned that up. Oh well. Have a good day, fellas. Yeah, other stuff I have to say I can say another day. Be good, guys.